We're going to move on to education. This question goes to Mr. Lumage. Student loan debt may be as high as $1.7 trillion with the average balance about $40,000, with as many as 500,000 borrowers right here in Connecticut. Do you support forgiving student loan debt?
The answer is no. The reason why I wouldn't support that, if I were to become a United States Senator, one of the first agencies, federal agencies that should be dismantled is the Department of Education. Now, the way it works is that if you go to a bank and you want to qualify your teenage son or daughter to get a loan to invest somewhere, the bank will turn them down. Yet they are willing to give our kids hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college and choose a major that does not employ them after they graduate. So we have to understand one thing, that we don't need everyone, including my own kids, to go to college. We can provide other forms of education for them that are the job demand is there for them. So if we're willing to give these kids at the age of 18 and 19 the credit cards and the loans and all these things, and then all of a sudden they sign a contract and the parents are involved in this, we should understand that that's an obligation that shouldn't be breached, because I paid for my education. I paid for my kids' education. If we forgive those loans now, would I get reimbursed for the money that I paid already for myself and my kids?
Ms. Claridis.
I don't support that proposal, and it is because there was an agreement and there was a contract signed. But the real problem here is the cost of education and the fact that there is so much debt. And the other issue is, as my colleague mentioned, everybody does not have to go to college. I was a huge supporter and supported funding and did fund in our budgets that we wrote in the legislature of funding VOTEC schools. Our VOTEC schools in Connecticut are second to none. There are waiting lists in many of them. Every child does not have to go to college. In fact, I proposed when I was in the legislature a bill that had children before they got to 7th or 8th grade, when maybe it was too late, to give them the options of saying you could learn a skill. You can get a job when you get out. You wouldn't have any student debt. You would have insurance, you would have benefits, and you would have self-worth because you would be able to work for yourself and understand that. There are options in this country, and we need to make sure kids and parents know all the options before they take one road or the other.
Thank you for that. Ms. Levy.
Yes, would you mind repeating the question?
Sure.
Thank you.
Student loan debt may be as high as $1.7 trillion. We have 500,000 students in our state alone with about a balance of $40,000 in debt. Do you support forgiving student loan debt?
I do not support forgiving student loan debt. That is debt that is held by the taxpayers of the United States. And that is, when you take on a debt, it is a responsibility. But the students today must think about what they're going to major in and whether college is the best choice. Vocational schools, technical schools, those are great options, and they should be encouraged rather than some colleges with majors that really won't allow them to get a job when they graduate. What I'm concerned about in our education system is the teaching of critical race theory, and the fact that Connecticut has spent $1.1 billion of COVID relief funds for mitigating COVID in the schools. Instead, it's been spent on teaching critical race theory and training teachers in systemic racism, which my opponent actually tweeted that this country is systemically racist. I grew up in the Jim Crow South and went to school at that time, and I can tell you there's a big change in this country. We are not systemically racist today.
Ms. Claridis, would you like to have 30 seconds to rebut that?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Levy is talking about, after the George Floyd tragedy, how I talked about that there is racism in this country, and I believe there is racism in this country. But the reality is facing the facts and then finding a solution. What came from that was the police accountability bill in the Connecticut legislature that I as leader negotiated, and we found good solutions to making policing safer and making police safer. But what the Democrats and the governor did, as they always do, is run out and pound their chest and do something that they thought would get them some headlines, and the result was making Connecticut less safe. That's why I was proud to be endorsed by the Connecticut State Police and the Fraternal Order of Police as the only law and order candidate in this race. Thank you.